Welcome everyone. Today we're here at the stunning location for our next Jenman Facebook Live session. Today is going to be a little bit more interactive than our previous Facebook Lives. We actually have a very important guest with us today that's going to share some travel tips with us and also some of his secret recipes along the way. Today we're in a stunning location, the Cape Villa Collection Spring Tides. We've also recently launched this product on our Jenman website. So please inquire with us at Jenman afterwards, and we've got some stunning pictures on the website itself. And it definitely is a very good location for people that's been the whole year in lockdown, wanting to get out, wanting to see the ocean. You can see outside there's a beautiful view. There's a lovely braai on the backside. So if you're a big family or family and friends who want to get away for a weekend or even a week, please inquire with Jen and we'll get back to you. So today we've got a very important guest with us, Jan Braai. He needs no introduction. He's the founder of National Braai Day that we've got, a very special Braai Day in South Africa. He's been doing it for the last 15 years, so very excited to have Jan Braai with us today, sharing one of his secret recipes with us. So Jan, welcome. It's very nice to have you with us.
It's nice to be in Kommetjie. It's not a secret recipe because we are kind of publicly braai. It's a special recipe, and obviously at the moment on Jan Braai for African TV show on Kijknet. TS TV channel 144 every Saturday evening at 6:30. Various reruns throughout the week. We are currently standing, of course, in Kommetjie in Cape Town, but earlier this year we were in Zimbabwe, where Jenman Safaris helped to organize the whole trip to Zimbabwe, and those episodes where we were in Zimbabwe currently is on TV, and that's why we are braaiing here to talk a bit about that fantastic holiday, or as they call it, work that we had in Zimbabwe.
So Jan, so you've been, the founder of National Braai Day in South Africa. You've got about 6 recipe books out now. I must say the Jan Braai recipe books, if you want to show off your family on a December holiday, I always do it. Take one of these recipe books and make a nice potjie or a nice braai, a fish over the braai. Then please get one of his cookbooks because it's very easy to follow, it's not very complicated, and it also looks good at the end of the day. So my family has been using it for a couple of years. We've really enjoyed it. And today we're going to do one of his famous biltong braai brekkies. So I'm very excited to do this recipe with him today. And also, Jan, if you just want to show quickly the audience what we'll be braaiing today.
I'm very excited to have a sous chef braai with me because it's quite hot there at the fire. So now I don't have to go and stand there. So we're going to do some red onions and caramelize them with butter. And this is a bit of balsamic vinegar, so that will go in there as well. Balsamic vinegar works well when you want to caramelize onions. Then we will build braai brekkies. This is aged white cheddar, some biltong, obviously the toasted bread, always buttered on the outside because braai brekkies are a chance in life to have the bread buttered on both sides. And then adding just a little bit of Cape Urban Spice chili. Cape Urban Spice, coincidentally, is also one of the sponsors of our TV show. So it's like a whole incestuous relationship of food on this table, and also some lance with cheese also on the TV show. That is obviously just plain cream cheese, and that also works very lekker. In your biltong braai brekkie, I have no idea where that biltong is from, but the best biltong would definitely be from Food Lovers Market, another sponsor of the TV show.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I also just wanted to mention one of our members that got on board with us is Cape Urban Spice. We've got this lovely hamper here that we showed to you earlier. So please follow this recording, and at the end of the recording we'll let you know how you can actually win one of these hampers. We'll give away 3 of these hampers. So please share our Facebook page, like our page, like Jan Braai's page, also like Cape Villa's and Jenman. So yeah, please like the Jenman page and inquire about this amazing villas. So yeah, Cape Urban Spice, sure, they are an amazing company that I've also been working with, and I use the spices for quite a while now. It's all about quality for them. When we were all in lockdown, we couldn't get out and travel, so this was all about travel through your taste bud. That's something they launched at the beginning of the year. So people couldn't travel, but at least they can cook at their own houses, and imagine they were somewhere in Asia, somewhere in India, or even South Africa with some of the braai spices they've got. So definitely, they're all about quality, all about flavor. If you go on their website, it says hello flavor. So for them, it's very important. They source about 80% of their products directly from the source. So what that means is they actually get it directly from the farmers, and that's very important to source it directly. So there's nobody in between that's going to cut the middleman and all of that, and also no blending going on and all of that. It's very important. So yeah, Cape and Herb and Spice, very good product. So please go on their page, support them. They also, you can find them at most of the retail stores in South Africa as well. A fantastic product, and we're also going to use some of their chili today in our, we're going to call it a chili braai brekkie or chili bites braai brekkie. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. So Jan, if we can get back to travel, I mean, you've traveled to amazing places in South Africa, Southern Africa. Just before lockdown, you went to Zimbabwe. Jenman African Safaris does various trips through Southern Africa. And one of the trips that we helped Jan with was in Zimbabwe. So today we're going to talk about Zimbabwe. The owner of Jenman, Garth Jenman, started in the early 90s, so it's over 20 years of experience, Jenman African Safaris. He actually started as a guide in Mana Pools, and that's how his trip started in Zimbabwe. And he also lived for a couple of years in Zimbabwe. So a lot of people actually think he's from Zimbabwe, but he's actually from South Africa. But definitely his second home is Zimbabwe. So Jan, yeah, so Zimbabwe is a fantastic destination. So many good spots to braai as well. I mean, you want the banks of the Zambezi, you want Lake Kariba as well.
From Cape Town, we flew with Airlink, and it's a 2-hour flight. I think maybe 2 hours 20 minutes or something. But it's essentially like flying to Joburg from Cape Town, and then 2 hours later you land at Victoria Falls International Airport. Getting through the airport was quite quick. Either we bought visas at the airport or we didn't need visas, but the point is, it's pretty straightforward. It's like flying to Windhoek. Because Zimbabwe, I think, had a bad rap over the past 20 years because of Mugabe was obviously not fantastic for the country, but Zimbabwe as a country, as a holiday destination, it's absolutely fantastic, especially that stretch in my mind next to the Zambezi River. So yeah, 2-hour flight, then you at Victoria Falls, you catch a shuttle. We went to, it's basically like a waiting area of awesomeness. The name escapes me. What is that place called? Zambezi House. It's obviously on the Zambezi River. So it's not a lodge as such. It's a place where once you land in Victoria Falls, you go and spend the day there, and from there you then travel up or down the river. We made great pizzas. We braaied at Zambezi House. It's like a living work of art. We had a nice trip on a dhow drinking gin and tonics. We obviously drank a lot of gin and tonic in Zimbabwe because there are mosquitoes and you can never be too safe. So we, with malaria, there isn't really, I think, so much malaria, but we just made sure by drinking lots of gin and tonic. And then after Zambezi House, we went upriver, and there's a lot of water in the river, so you can shower for quite a while when you're in Zimbabwe. That's also lekker. You can flush the toilets. And then we went to Chundu Island, which is an island sitting in the Zambezi River. So I don't know how they figured out that it's in Zimbabwe because it's in the middle of the river. So to my mind, it is also in Zambia, but they said we are still in Zimbabwe. And it's how deep the river is. Where the deepest. Okay, so it's still on the Zimbabwe side of the deepest point. Lots of crocodiles. I've got no idea who swam down to check where the deepest point is. So, but let's pretend that's the truth. And there we were going on boats on the river. We were braaiing all the time. Braaied some fresh fish. From Chundu, where did we go after Chundu? To Big Falls. Yeah. It was. Then we did a nice helicopter flight, which for all of us was pretty special because it's a real bucket list thing to do in your life, is to fly in a helicopter over Victoria Falls. And that was also pretty straightforward. You just go there and you pay and you get into the helicopter and there you go. So the point is Zimbabwe is extremely, extremely tourist friendly. Then over lunch, the crew convinced me to do this like zip lining over the canyon at Victoria Falls. That was also quite lekker. I mean, I'm a bit afraid of heights, but that was actually fun. We braaied brilliant. Of course, the steak, because there are lots of cows running around everywhere in Zimbabwe, so the steak is amazing. Then we went to Semengwe, which doesn't look exactly the same anymore, because shortly after we were there, the annual rains came past Semengwe in the river, and then rearranged their garden and braai area. But I'm sure they have a new nice braai area now. Oh, and we obviously, when we went on boats, Jenman has these lekker little buses with aircon, so we were traveling in them. At Semengwe, we fished and we braaied on like a sandbank in the river. We were basically just traveling down the Zambezi River. Then we got to, what's that other fishing? It's like a Zambezi fishing lodge. With Sonia and Dean, fantastic South Africans living there now. After that, we were on the Kariba for a few days on a houseboat, the Jacqueline. And what was very lekker on that houseboat is they had a backgammon set. And yeah, and our director of sports and entertainment, Nico de Tief, he was also there. And I'm much better in backgammon than Nico. So I completely whipped his ass in backgammon then for a few days. There we also had to drink gin and tonic because there were also little muggies and mosquitoes. And we saw fantastic wildlife from the boat. Elephant. We once actually had to get back onto the boat while we were braaiing because the elephants came a little bit close to the braai. And then we went to Boomy Hills, which is a very luxurious lodge on the Kariba. And yeah, we were intending to stay, I think, 2 days. But we ended up staying a bit longer because that's when the monsoon, or whatever you call those rains, started, and then the whole airfield was flooded. So we had a little lockdown in Boomy Hills before the big lockdown in Cape Town. That lockdown was more fun. So that's, yeah, it's such a beautiful country. And I think it's even less than 2 hours if you fly from Joburg. There's also, yeah, I mean, Airlink is really, for us on the TV show, it's a fantastic way to get around Southern Africa because they fly to all the lekker places.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. Sure. Yeah, we've like Lake Kariba itself. When you're in the middle of the Kariba, it actually feels like an ocean. People don't realize how big it is. You can't even see the sides of, yeah. So it's a really nice breakaway from the safari as well. Because if people normally we have a lot of itineraries where people will arrive in Big Falls, and there's many lodges for families that they can go to, from the luxury down to the 3-star. So depending on your budget, you can check with us. So getting to Victoria Falls is quite easy from South Africa. Like Jan said, it's a very short flight. It feels like you're flying to Joburg. And then from there, Victoria Falls is just an amazing destination. Every time I get there, I just get goosebumps when I'm there. You just see that magic waterfall and just the thundering noise. It also depends what time of the year you are there. It's also important you get your rainy season and your dry season as well. So normally from like September up until December, the falls is very low. And then from January it starts to rain up until April. Then it's very, very big and thunderous. So it depends on also taking account what time of the year you want to go and how big you want to see the falls as well and not get disappointed. But again, a lot of adventure activities around the falls. So people that want to do adventure, there's bungee jumping, there's zip lining. You can do a lot of river rafting if you want to really be adventurous down in Zambezi as well. Luckily there's no crocodiles there because it's quite rough water. The crocodiles like water, it's a little bit more still. So that's also good to know. But yeah, please have a look and inquire with us if you want to go to Big Falls. We also try to look and do something that's different and interesting. So if you also want to, have a safari and paint animals at the same time, we can also make that happen as well. Also, Wangi National Park is only an hour and a half from Big Falls. That's the biggest park in Zimbabwe. It's almost like the Kruger National Park of Zimbabwe. So it's also quite unique and different for clients to go there. And then from Wangi you can get over to Lake Kariba, where the houseboat safari is quite unique. A lot of South Africans like the houseboat. You can do some tiger fishing as well if it's the right time of the year. And enjoy the wildlife at the same time. So let's get back to some of your traveling. We've done some of the travel experiences. Let's get back to some of your recipes that you've created over the years. Where does your inspiration come from, Jan? I mean, you've really done incredible recipes throughout the year. Do you have a whole team, or do you try different things every weekend, try and experiment a bit? How does all these things come together?
Yeah, the TV show has been going for 10 years now, so we have traveled extensively in Southern Africa and the world, and wherever you go, you see stuff. We usually try and use local ingredients. So, for example, on the Kariba, on the houseboat, which I completely agree with you. If you go to Zimbabwe, go and spend a few days on a houseboat on the Kariba. It's just a fantastic life experience, and also braaiing on those islands in the Kariba or on the shore where all those dead trees are standing. Makes for fantastic photos, so you can really look cool on Instagram. Anyway, there, for example, they've got this little fish, the kapenta, on the Kariba that they try and salt. So then we wanted to make food with kapenta. So then we did kapenta. So like a Sicilian pizza, we use capers and olives and cheese, pine nuts and anchovies, obviously. But then instead of the anchovies, we used kapentas and made like a kapenta style braai. I think on that same trip when we fished in the Zambezi, then you obviously want to use the fish, but we were drinking a bit of sparkling wine that day, so we thought let's smoke the fish. It's gonna, pair well. So then we dressed it actually with a bit of Cape herb and spice, and used oak shaving and smoked the fish. So it's basically trying to be creative to cook something nice with the local ingredients, and then also you see ideas and get inspiration from other meals. So maybe you eat in a restaurant and there's a particular nice flavor combination in a sauce or in a salad or on a burger, and then you think, how can we apply this on the braai fire? It's not just myself, it's my whole team and my colleagues, and then like I guess most companies, we have a WhatsApp group, and then we discuss ideas there, and then my colleagues help me to test these ideas until we nail it down into something perfect.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Coming back to the braai breaking, I also grew up in a little town called Robertson, very conservative little town. We braaied almost every Friday and Sunday, so grew up with the braai heritage. And so I'm very happy to be with you here today as well. And that interesting conversation about braai breakies, because traditionally in my family it was always the same. We were never allowed to change it, but that was back in the days. It was always traditionally just tomato, onion and cheese, and you can put on a little of chutney or whatever you prefer, and then you have to cut off this little end because that one would like that recipe and the other one would like the other recipe. So that causes also a huge problem sometimes for the braaier to try and keep up with who wants what. Also when I met my wife the first time, I was making this braai breakies and braaiing it, and then when I was eating I was like, this is funny taste. And then she put some onion marmalade on the braai breakie. I'm like, why would you put onion marmalade on a braai breakie? And that was where I started in my food career. And now obviously I love onion marmalade on braai breakies and also try to experiment. But there's a lot of people still that's stuck in the old traditional recipes, which is good. That's why I also like to experiment a little bit more and try different things. But luckily it worked out for us. I'm still with her. I probably had to. I was married to a foodie, so I had to experiment as well. And now I enjoy also different flavors and different braai breakies. She always tell me a braai breakie is a meal on its own. I always say you have to have a braai breakie, but definitely it could be a meal on its own. And if we can start with this braai breakie today.
So this is obviously red onions into the pan. Now you can do it on the fire, but it's going to taste the same, so you might as well do it here because it's not so hot here. So that's red onions. This is butter. Always real butter, never ever margarine. It's disgusting.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So that's butter. We can't use all the butter now because we're going to need some of it to butter the bread, obviously, on the outside. This is brown sugar. And this is balsamic vinegar. Like that. And then to the fire we go, because now we want to just caramelize this a bit and then build the braai breakies with it. So that can just go and sit over there. It's a fireproof pan, so the pan will be fine. And if the pan isn't fireproof, then after you've used it on the fire, it's pretty useless for anything else. So then it becomes a fireproof pan. So if you don't have a fireproof pan, just use pan and mess it up on the fire, and then it becomes your fireproof pan. Yeah, so that's the story of the braaibraaitjie. I think the braaibraaitjie is like boerewors. It's such an iconic South African thing. Like, you know, you can braai anything, but you also want braaibraaitjies, and you also want boerewors. Like you say, there's the traditional recipe, but it's now a democratic country, and we've been emancipated from mental slavery, and we can braai whatever braaibraaitjies we want. So this year in lockdown, we braaied obviously every day for breakfast, lunch and dinner, the whole country. Half of the country hasn't stopped braaiing yet, so I think more people braai now than ever before. But anyway, then myself and my colleagues, we wrote another book called Braaibraaitjies and Burgers. So it's a whole book just full of recipes with braaibraaitjies. And I think that's certainly the direction that the braai world is going in, as people are realizing how awesome braaibraaitjies are, and that you can do more than the traditional one. Although in that book, the first recipe in the book is the recipe of the traditional braaibraaitjie. And I also think lockdown taught people that life should and could and can be enjoyed. So I think this stupid trend that was in the world for the past year or two, where people wanted to not eat bread, it's called gluten-free diet. It's completely stupid, and I think that trend is just done, because in lockdown and Corona, everybody said, but I'm only living once. I actually want to enjoy it, and not eating bread is not fun. There's no way to live. So bread is making not only braaibraaitjies, but so you can see there how beautiful that looks. Yeah, so bread as a whole and braaibraaitjies obviously making a huge comeback in the culinary world and the braai world. And meat. People are eating more meat than before lockdown, because yeah, I mean, the animals are already dead by the time the meat is in the butchery or the supermarket, so you might as well eat it. So being a vegetarian is just completely disrespectful towards the animal that gave its life to give you that nice meat.
For sure.
Yeah. So I think that those trends are gone. People are eating bread and they're braaiing meat because it's fun. You know.
Yeah, I think everybody is hungry to make food in lockdown now. We're all hungry to travel as well at the same time. We've just had recently good news that international travel is open for South Africa, and also for southern African countries like Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique as well. So definitely travel is there. You know, people can now actually book and travel again, and it's the best time actually to travel. I've been recently down the garden route, and it's not very busy. So it's so nice actually to drive down to the beach and you don't have to look for parking. And if you get to this famous tourist spot, you don't have to queue to get into a place. So it's actually a very good time to book now and to travel quite soon, because you're going to see the country that is so beautiful, and there's not so many people, and you're basically going to explore it with a few other people. And yeah, so please inquire with Jenman Safaris if you're looking to travel quite soon.
I'm inquiring with Jenman Safaris. Tell me
Yes,
where
please.
we can go in South Africa, because it's now close to the end of 2020 and next year is 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, logically. And then we must make another TV series. So tell me about all the places you have in South Africa.
So South Africa, you know, Kruger is very popular.
This
If
is
you wanna
called
go-
multitasking. I'm busy braaiing, I'm busy making a video for social media, and I'm busy doing research for next year's TV show.
So in South Africa, I mean, we were very blessed with game lodges in the northern side of South Africa. Kruger National Park, you know, is one of the biggest parks, not even in South Africa, but in the world as well. And yeah, so Kruger is a good start if you really want to see game. Then again, if people want to go in families, there's also different parts of South Africa you can go to. You can go to Madikwe on the northern side of Johannesburg, Pilansberg if you want to be more adventurous with the family, if you want to be a bit of the, you know, resort vibe with the game drives. So that's the northern side. And then if you want to explore the Wild Coast, it's also beautiful. I mean, on your show, Jan, you've recently been to Coffee Bay, Hole in the Wall, and those places. It's so raw and so wild still. So I think it's a very good time if people haven't been there to book a trip on a self-drive to go down the coast there. There's some amazing spots, Morgan Bay, also very good. Then you go down to Port Elizabeth, and then obviously the garden route is also beautiful if people haven't been down the garden route. So there's so many places down the coast you can explore, and the northern side of South Africa. But then again, the borders is open, so if you want to drive to Namibia, it's definitely possible. Namibia is an amazing destination, big open spaces, so people don't have to worry about that. Only about 2 million people, over 2 million people in Namibia, so it's a big country. With the whole of Cape Town is bigger than Namibia with the amount of people, the same with Botswana as well. So yeah, I would definitely suggest if you can get to any of those places, it will be amazing. Zimbabwe itself, like I've mentioned before, we haven't touched.
This is a very bad bright light.
Zimbabwe, we talked about. Sorry, so we just quickly switch over what you're doing with the
No, it's fine. I don't want to interrupt you. Taking notes for next year's traveling. So this is now the caramelized onion, and that's then the first ingredient of the biltong, the chili biltong. Right, it's almost like a chili bite that we're going to create with the biltong and the chili. Ooh, now we put the pan here. But that's fine. You can clean that. So when you visit this house in Komiki and you see that little thing there on the table, that's it's signature. It's something I do in places just to show that it's authentic, that it's real, it's not staged. Now we can add a bit of cheese. This is obviously the cheddar cheese. And on TV and on social media videos, it's better to grate the cheese. It looks cooler on camera when it falls like that. In real life, I prefer to slice it because it's less messy. But messy is cool on camera. It gives it a bit of a vibe. Now the biltong. Now this biltong we should chop a little bit, or we can pack it in these big slices. Maybe we just don't chop it now today. Beautiful, fantastic biltong. That's another reason to go for holidays in the Laagveld. So the bushveld of South Africa, because their biltong is better than Cape Town biltong. I think the air up there just makes biltong taste nicer. And Namibia is fantastic biltong as well. And Namibia has galjoen fishes. So theoretically Cape Town has galjoen as well, but not in real life. Galjoen, if you want to eat galjoen, it's the best fish. It's my favorite. What is your favorite fish?
Yeah, also growing up, actually my grandfather had a holiday house in Hermanus, so I grew up growing up braaiing fish, and he used to catch galjoen back then, but I don't think you can get it much. And also you're not allowed to catch them in South Africa anymore. Galjoen is very gamey, but it's a very nice fish, it's different. So definitely growing up with galjoen, I still have that memory in the back of my mind. You know, definitely braaiing with, and also I think we've got a very nice spice here. I've seen you've used this in some of your Mediterranean on fish braais. Also goes very well together. So that's a very nice spice if you want to do some fish braais as well. So yeah, galjoen is chili.
Just a light dusting of chili.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a kick.
Quite an aggressive chili. Like the street fighting chili man. This is the cream cheese. This chili is so strong that just a bit of dust.
The fumes.
Yeah. The fumes makes me cough. Like that. Now, probably should have put the cream cheese on first before we did the onions. Then this would have been easier. But the glove was burning, or the pan was burning my hand. Yeah. There we go. It's not very technical. Can't tell you much about what I'm doing now. So let's hear some more travel stories.
Yeah, so we've been talking about Zimbabwe, and then also Botswana is also very close. I mean, it's only an hour and a half, 2 hours drive from Big Falls, where you can get over to Chobe. And then south of Chobe, at Camp Kazuma is one of the lodges there. That is away from the hustle and bustle of Chobe, because it can get quite busy on the river on sunset cruises, so this is a bit further away. And they also offer amazing hot air ballooning. So it's also one of the unique and different experiences that we offer at Jenman. So definitely if you want to go on a hot air balloon in the Chubby area, that's also one of the tips I want to give you guys. Something you want to put on your bucket list definitely is to be in a hot air balloon and view the animals from that angle, you know. Something that you'll remember for the rest of your life. So yeah, so that's one of the highlights that we also like to offer at Jenman. Like I said, travel is possible, so we want to get people out there. Please inquire with us if you're not sure about travel yet. A lot of people are worried about the regulations. You need to have a negative test and all of that, but we actually have a team on a daily basis updating every country. So people are not even sure about traveling, they just want to inquire and know where can I travel to, what do I need. We've got a fantastic sales team at the back end that can help you with all the questions there as well. So we just want to, you know, give a positive spin in the tourism industry that travel is possible and people definitely need to get out there. Jan, yeah, you've also travelled in your show to amazing places. I mean, I've seen you've travelled on the year before to Madagascar as well. That's also something that Jenman also offers as well as Madagascar Safaris as well. What is your take on Madagascar?
Absolutely fantastic. So there you fly from Joburg with also with Airlink. We didn't go to mainland Madagascar. We went to Nosy Be, which is like the holiday island off the coast of Madagascar, but it's legitimately Madagascar. It was you go for a week because the plane basically flies there once a week. And a week is a good time to visit Madagascar. Fantastic fishing, absolutely amazing scuba diving, and also with sea turtles. That is where sea turtles are originally from. Sea turtles live in Sakatia, is a little island in off the coast of Madagascar. And we were diving there with sea turtles. That is for me as a proper bucket list thing to do. So certainly to visit Madagascar. Yeah, Joburg you mentioned, so there you fly from Cape Town to Maun, and if you hear funny noises, there are people carrying something down the stairs. Don't worry about it. And then
sorry, Kasane, we flew to Kasane and then Joburg.
Did we fly to Kasane? And and Botswana, that part of Botswana is just so fantastically rigged to, except very similar to the Vic Falls part of Zimbabwe. It's just so cool to go on holiday there. Namibia is like all our neighboring provinces. Yeah, but certainly for me in not 2020, 2019 when we were in Madagascar, that was probably the highlight of last year for me personally, and also on the TV show. Now we need a grid. Now watch carefully, this is how we do it. Can you hold that for me please? Then instead of individually packing each one, we're just going to flip it. We're going to mess a bit of cheese on the floor probably, but there are so many people here that can help clean afterwards. There you go.
Well, that's a good tip, eh? I'll definitely use that next time. Except
now
for
the
one
butter,
that's not.
the butter one got away. There you go. That's how you do it. And obviously you braai breakies in a hinge grid, but the best hinge grids don't have hinges anymore. They've got these little settings, so then you can perfectly set it at a thickness or height where the braai breakie doesn't get damaged. It's a dog, as you can hear. It's not our dog, it's a dog running past in the street. And now we're going to braai the braai breakies, so then we'll have to talk travel again, because there's not much. Say about a braai breakie. A braai breakie is a braai breakie. You have to turn the thing often, all the time. It must almost be like a lamb on a spit. The more you turn the braai breakie, the better. You want the golden brown on the outside, and you want all of the cheese melted in the middle. And the way to achieve that, because when you toast bread in a toaster, bread perfectly toasts in 2 minutes and 34 seconds. So that's how long it's going to take for the bread to start burning. But we're going to need longer than that for the cheese to melt. So that's why you have to turn it often and all the time. And then you also want to, look at that, beautiful. You want to turn it often, and then you also just want to open and close the grid a few times during the initial turns, to make sure that the bread isn't sticking to the grid, because even though you've buttered it, the bread still has a tendency to stick. It's like sticking tendencies. Yeah, there we go. That is the chili and biltong braai bread.
Great, thanks so much, Jan. Yeah, this looks really good on the braai there. Just want to mention again the villa that we're in, this amazing villa that's hosting us here today. Spring Tides it's called, so please inquire with Jenman to come and stay at Spring Tides. This is an amazing venue if you love the beach. They've also got a pool outside if the people don't want to get their feet in the cold water as well. I can see some amazing waves going on there on the left hand side. Yeah, so please inquire. This is an amazing venue for families, even for friends that want to get away for a weekend, even for a whole week that's coming up now. There's still plenty of availability in the beginning of December, end of November as well, and I really think people will have a lot of fun braais. And you can actually book this and have the famous Jan Braai venue, you know, you
You
tell
can
your
put
friends.
your glass of brandy and coke here, exactly there on the spot. That's the perfect place to put your drink when you're braaiing here. That's why I marked the spot.
Yeah, so I want to say thanks a lot for Jan for being here and showing off his amazing braai breakies. I want to say thanks to Cape Urban Spice. We've got this amazing spice hamper. We've got 3 of them that we're going to give away. So please follow us, please watch the recording, like us at the end of the recording, and yeah, then we'll let you know if one of you won this amazing hamper. There's some lovely braai spice in there, some different other ideas, a nice chopping board as well. So definitely to get you ready for the December holidays for a braai with your family, or if you just want to get creative in the kitchen as well. And yeah, if you want to inquire about travel, please think of Jenman. We've just talked about Madagascar, so keep in mind Madagascar as well. A very unique and different destination. It's about 80% of the animals in Madagascar you can't see anywhere else in the world. So it's very rugged and very wild still. It's not like Africa, it's something completely different. And yeah, so I want to say thanks to Jan. The braai breakies is almost finishing off now. And yeah, it's been great to have you all with us. And yeah, please join us again next time.
Cheers.